Hey, sports card fans, it's John Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. Finally, it has been since last year's National that I've been able to pick up any of the cards that are on my 100 cards for $100,000 list. As I've mentioned many times, now that I'm approaching the halfway mark, the remaining cards on that list are getting more and more expensive. So I'm not able to pick up as many cards throughout a year than when I first started on that list. Well, this past Christmas here, I got some eBay gift cards. And rather than using those cards and pick up a few less expensive vintage cards, I decided that I wanted to put that money and see if I could save up some other hobby money and to try to get one of the cards on that 100 cards for $100,000 list. Now, for some time, and even at last year's National, I was looking to pick up Mike Schmidt rookie card, Reggie Jackson rookie card, even a Johnny Bench rookie card. Just haven't found the one with the right eye appeal and price point that I felt comfortable with. And so I decided to look at some of the other cards on the list and came across one that I really like. And so I'm going to turn the camera around and show off my latest pickup on my 100 cards for $100,000, card number 46. Now, before I show off the card, I was a bit hesitant whether I wanted to pull the trigger on this particular card. It was a fairly new buy it now listing. I think it was still within the first 30 days of it being listed, so it was probably on eBay for less than a day. And when I saw it, it initially caught my eye. However, cards from this set I've seen in various, how do I put it? Some cards in this set sometimes look a little bit faded, and other times the colors, especially on the background, are a little bolder and brighter. And the picture that the seller used wasn't a bad picture, but I think the way they scanned it, I think they may have used a flatbed scanner or something like that. It gave the impression that the card looked a little faded. However, I noticed that it was a fairly new slab, and I knew that PSA for some of their newer grades, that they would put an image on their website. So I looked up the certification number, and sure enough, they had images of the card. Now, PSA scans were a lot crisper. I think it gave a better picture of the card, and also it showed a little flaw on the card that the eBay listing did not show in the image. However, that flaw did not deter me, because once I saw that really the colors weren't that faded, I had to pounce on it. Now, this particular card I spent, and I'll get into the details a little bit later after I show it off. The buy it now price was a little bit higher than the current VCP average for this particular grade. It was less than the high PSA value or VCP value. So again, VCP shows a low, an average, and a high for every grade. So it was between the VCP average and the high price. And I know sometimes that when I'm looking for a card that has really nice eye appeal, really nice centering, that I may have to pay closer to that higher amount, and I still paid less than that. And I think you'll see why, with the overall eye appeal of this card, why I was willing to pay a little bit more than the VCP average, which is where I try to buy my cards around. But with all that said, this is the card number 46 on my list, and it is the 1958 Topps Ted Williams card number 1. Now, as you can see, the first thing that caught my eye was the centering on this. If you have a 58 Topps Ted Williams, if you've been looking for a 58 Topps Ted Williams, you know that unless you start getting into the higher grades, his card, whether it's card number 1, I don't know if that was because where it was placed on the printing sheet, but very often you get a card that is not this well centered. And it was a PSA 3 on my 100 cards for $100,000. I had it at a PSA 5 that I was going to look at. And again, I'll get into those numbers a little bit later here. But again, I'm looking for just a nice eye appeal card. I'm not concerned about the grade. And actually, when I told you that the initial listing of this card looked like it was a little bit faded in the background there and on Ted's face, and that it didn't show a little slight imperfection, and I'll show it here. You can't see it here. If you look straight at that card, you just don't see it. And I did see it on the VCP, or I'm sorry, on PSA's website, and just, I don't know, it is such a gorgeous card. And you may be saying, well, how did this get a 3? Because if you look at the corners, let's see if I can get this zoomed in here a little bit. See if this works here. There we go. I mean, look at those corners. I'm not big on corners, but now you can see there's a little white dot there in the background, but you barely see it. Here are the other, sorry for the glare there. There are the other corners, and that centering. Well, here's why it got a 3. And I'll see if I can maybe get it in the right light there. That little hairline crease, just it is so subtle, but that's what made it a 3. At any other angle, you just can't see it. I mean, it blends right into the background. And I mean, look at the back. There we go. Nice back as well. I love it up at the top here. It says, at 39, Ted became the oldest player to ever win the batting title. He finished 23 points higher than Mantle and belted 4 more homers than the Yankee youngster. Father Time, Ted never heard of him. So really cool. I like the little cartoons and stuff on the back. And this is one of those cases where, hey, it's a 3, but unless you look really close and can find what made it a 3, this is just an absolutely gorgeous card. Card number 1. I don't have too many Ted Williams. I have the 54 Topps number 250. So I think this may be only my second Ted Williams card. Oh, nope, sorry. How can I forget the 54 Bowman? Oh my gosh. Yeah, the 54 Topps and 54 Bowman, and now I can add the 58 Topps Ted Williams to that list. And since I have so few of them, I thought I'd show off my other 58 Topps cards quickly here. This is the Duke Snider, and this is a PSA 2, but this was a contest win from G's Mikey. So I'll always have this in my collection. Not sure if I'll, ever get a higher graded copy. At this point, I don't need to. I have a Duke Snider, and it's special to me because it ties this card to a card that G's Mikey had in his collection. So you have the Ted Williams, you have the Duke Snider. Really nice Whitey Ford. This is one that I picked up at, I think it was, no, it wasn't last year's National, maybe the National before that. Yeah, in Atlantic City. The white name version of Hank Aaron. And then I have the 2 all-star cards of Mickey Mantle and Stan Musial in those gorgeous, gorgeous BVG holders that someday will be free of those holders. So those are all my 1958 Topps cards. Oh, that glare is terrible. All right. Yeah, so into the numbers here, we'll put this one front and center since that is the big pickup here for this video, the Ted Williams. Again, when you look at it like that, that's an absolutely gorgeous card, but it has a technical grade of a 3. All right, now the current VCP average price for a 3 is $140. On the high side, it's $200. It was a buy it now, and with the shipping and tax came up to $175. So I was in $175 for that, but once you take out the eBay gift cards, out of pocket, that only cost me around $50. Not bad at all. Now, I mentioned on my initial list, which was done in November of 2021, I had this on my list in a PSA 5, and at the time I figured I'd have to spend $250. Well, today, for a PSA 5, the current VCP average price is just under $300. So, you know, again, this could very well be, without that little crease there, that could technically be a PSA 5. It would not surprise me if that would be a PSA 5 without that little crease. So rather than spending close to $200, this was only $175, and again, out of pocket with those eBay gift cards, $50. And now to give an overall summary, which I do whenever I pick up a new card on my list, I let you know what the original budget or cost would have been for now these 46 cards that I've picked up on my list, what that would have cost me, and then what I actually spent. And so for those 46 cards now, on the original list, it would have cost me $10,850. However, I've only spent $8,090. So I am under budget, if you want to frame it like that, by $2,760. So again, I've had to deal with, obviously this list is 2 years old, a little bit over 2 years old now. For the most part, over the last 2 years, a lot of these cards on my list have gone up in price a little bit. Some may have dropped, but again, I don't want to tie myself to a particular grade that I put it on the list. If I can find a really nice copy at a lower grade and save me some money, I'm all for it, because I didn't buy it because of that. I bought it because of that. So would love to know what you think about my 1958 Topps Ted Williams card number 1 and card number 46 on my 100 cards for $100,000. With that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.